one of you are beating them children.
These bruises were so severe, it looked like somebody pulled his pants down and hit him multiple times with the belt.
You were arrested for child abuse, right?
Yes, sir.
But you say you didn't do any of that.
You know that Terry hit your son. You know that Terry abused your son.
My son changed his story right after he talked to you. Why is that?
If David failed the test, I want him locked up for the rest of his life.
There's a lot of accusations. Did she say that she was sexually abused?
Yes.
And who did she say did it?
Uncle David.
So if you failed that lie detector test, you are going back to prison where you belong.
Is it tough for you to watch that clip? January of 2020, Catherine took her son to the emergency room with what she thought was a rash. But while she was at the hospital, the police and social services were called due to suspicions of physical abuse. At the time, Catherine's son described his aunt Christina's boyfriend Terry as the abuser, and he was arrested. However, as the investigation continued, additional allegations, including sexual abuse, were revealed. But the children were no longer pointing the finger at Terry. They were accusing Catherine and Christina's brother, David. Take a look.
So on January 8th, 2020, I came home from work, and my son called me into the bedroom, and he showed me his body. There was, welts, bumps, all through his thigh, on his hips, his legs. He said that he fell. I said, Terry, what happened to my son? He said, what are you talking about? So I brought him into the bedroom and I showed him. But the look on his face, it was more of concern, shocked. So I go to David. He said, like no concern. So me and Terry got my son. We went to the hospital and the doctor comes in. She said that it looked like somebody hit him. She called CPS. She called the cops. They got involved. They took my son away, and my son, he wouldn't speak to them. So they called into the room, and he said Terry did it. Terry got arrested that day, but for some reason, I still couldn't believe that he did it though.
Terry got arrested for abusing Cat's son. I was mad. I knew they had the wrong guy at that time. I always thought it was my brother David. My kids only had the marks on them when David was around. And I also thought it was David because David is a registered sex offender and he also burnt children in the past.
Before the charges got dropped with Terry, I've witnessed things that wasn't normal with my niece. When my niece and my nephew was talked to, they said David did it. We asked them what did he do? And she said that he penetrated her with a toy.
She mentioned that he used his fingers. She also mentioned that he touched her private area with toys. She also said that he undressed her. When my daughter told me this, I wanted to hurt him. I was pissed. I got her examined, and then they called the police, and I wrote a police report on it.
I looked at all the kids' bodies, my niece and my nephew, which they had burn marks from a lighter and cigarette marks on my niece's back. I asked them all what happened. They all said Uncle David used it, and I said, use what? They said a cigarette and a lighter.
A part of me hopes David passed the lie detector test tomorrow. But however, if he do not pass the lie detector test, I just want everyone to know that I'm going to do what I first started, and I will head down to Green Bay Police Department and I'll press charges because someone that's sick needs to be locked up for the rest of his life.
To be honest with you, I hate him because of what he did. I lost everything. I lost my home, my job, and I almost lost my kids because of it. If David fails this lie detector test, I want David to go to prison for the rest of his life. I don't want them to give him leniency, put him in a mental institution. I want him locked up where he belongs.
The kids has always said Uncle Terry did it. They never said one time that I did it. I signed a statement on Terry. He went to jail for me because I signed a statement saying I seen something happen when I didn't. They want to turn this all around on me. I called the show. They didn't. They're here. I'm here. They're not. Because they want to keep trying everything they can to keep me locked up.
Why do they want to keep you?
Because I signed a statement on Terry saying that he was the one that abused. Because my sister's son. Because he's always said that Uncle Terry did it. He never one time said that Uncle Terry did it.
Why would you sign a statement to the police?
Because I was on meth. I was on drugs. I just didn't want no part of it. You know, and I was on probation and I was scared and I just wanted it all over with.
So you pinned it on somebody else?
Yeah, because he was the one that said that, yes, I did abuse my sister's son, but
so
I don't know.
He was saying that you did it and then you...
No, he told everybody else that he did abuse Catherine's son, but he don't know if he left the marks on it. Okay. He's always said Uncle Terry did it. He's never one time said Uncle David did it until I signed a statement and he got along with the kids, or with the parents.
When you hear your sister say she'd like to see you in prison for the rest of your life, how do you feel about that?
That makes me sad because, you know, it's true. You know, I hope that they go to jail whenever the test comes back that I pass the test and they're not here so that way they can take a test.
Do you think your sisters did something wrong?
I think that Terry beat my sister's son and they're coaching their kids to say that I did something.
Okay, so during the winter of 2020, how often were you around your sisters and their kids?
I was over there every day because I just got out of prison. I wanted to make up time with them.
What were you in prison for?
Possession of meth at that point.
Okay.
But back years ago, I had a misdemeanor sex charge. I thought my girlfriend was 18. I did not have sex with her. I found out she was 13. I stopped seeing her, and she went and told her parents. I did 120 days in jail, and that was the end of it.
And you have to register as a sex offender?
Yeah, just because of that issue.
How old were you?
I was 20 years old.
You were 20?
Yes, and she was 13.
And you thought a 13-year-old was how old?
18 years old. Yeah, and
Really?
Yeah, because she looked like she had the body of an 18-year-old, and she told me she was 18. Once I seen that she wasn't 18, I stopped seeing her.
Did you have sex with her?
I did not have sex with her, no.
What did you do with her?
That was it.
And now you have to register as a sex offender for the rest of your life?
In Kentucky, it's 20 years, but since I moved states, it's a lifetime because it's a state that I moved to.
Okay.
These bruises were so severe, it looked like somebody pulled his pants down and hit him multiple times with the belt.
Did she say that she was sexually abused?
Yes,
And who did she say did it?
Uncle David.
22854. Message and data rates may apply. What happened in January of 2020?
My sister's son was abused. He went to the hospital the next day. They found marks on his butt and his legs. He's always said Uncle Terry did it. He's never said Uncle David did it. I've had phone calls with him ever since then. And he's always said that he was scared. He was forced by Christina and Catherine to say that I did it. He's never said that Uncle David
So
did it.
then this happened and the police came and talked to you?
They came and talked to me about this. They came and talked to me about the sexual abuse. I did a DNA test. I did all of that because...
But during this time when the police talked to you, this is when you said, I saw Terry do it.
Yes, the police came and talked to me at Christina's house. I wrote the statement, which I admit that I did not see Terry do it. But
Were you ever alone with the kids?
No, because they won't let me because I'm a sex offender and
Right.
I was on drugs. So I don't see how I can do something if I'm not
So
even
you got
around.
out of prison, you went back on drugs?
Yeah, I was on drugs and I got clean. I asked y'all to give me a drug test.
Oh, to prove that you're not
Yeah, I'm not on drugs.
system. How long you been clean?
To be honest, a month. I got clean myself.
How did you do that?
I moved out of Wisconsin because they kept causing me stress. All these allegations is causing me a lot of stress. My mom passed away in June because of all of it. And they won't stop.
The police never locked you up for anything?
I never got elected for nothing, no.
Concerning this?
Yes.
Okay. Your sister's here. Hey, Catherine.
Hi, how you doing, Steve?
What do you want to say to your brother?
Well, I want to say that some of the stuff he's just saying is a lie because I know for a fact that I ain't never coerced my son into anything, and the therapist would not lie about what he told them about him. So tell another lie on the national TV. Won't you just keep it real?
Okay? Your son has always told you that Uncle Terry did. He's never one time said that Uncle David did it. You're on meth. You know that you're on meth.
As soon as you went to
I'm
jail.
in here. I'm here.
As soon as you went to jail. I ain't trying to hit. I'm here too.
I'm here, but you're not here. I'm here. I called the show. You didn't call no damn
Okay,
show.
you want to be famous.
I called the show.
You want to be on TV. Take everything on TV because you think you're so smart.
I called the show.
Get out of here,
Why are you
Seth.
not here taking the lie detector test? Why are you not here?
Lie detector
Why are you
test.
and Christina not here? Why am I the only one here?
Oh,
Why?
we will be back. Trust me.
Why?
We will be back. We will
Why?
be back.
Tell me about the day you took your son to the hospital.
He showed me his butt, and he had bruises on his butt, which, me and my kids have eczema. So I thought it was allergic reaction to something, which when I went to the hospital, the doctors told me, no, somebody hit him.
Did you then ask your son who hit you?
I asked my son 7 times that day before I took him to the hospital who hit him, and he told me he fell.
Did he eventually ever say Terry did it?
The only time he ever said Terry did it is when he was at the place where they take the kids out to question them, which I've heard from multiple people, including CPS. They asked him, well, who spanked you? He said my mommy spanks me, which I'm not going to lie. Yes, I do spank my son when he is acting out with just my hand. There's never a time I took a belt to my son. Then he said that...
Suspected he was hit with the belt?
Yes.
Because the bruising was so
belt.
severe.
These bruises were so severe, it looked like somebody pulled his pants down and hit him multiple times with the belt.
How did you confuse that with eczema?
Because of the breakouts, the bumps, I didn't realize that they were stars until I saw the picture from the CPS worker.
When did the sexual accusations come about?
The sexual accusations came about when CPS kept getting called for a welfare check on the kids. My niece had caught an infection, which, you know, is common for kids to get. I brought it up to her mother. You know, you need to take my niece to the hospital, which, you know, she did. But before she did, you know, we checked her out down there, and her thing was just not normal for just an infection, in my opinion.
And did she say that she was sexually abused?
Yes.
And who did she say did it?
Well, at first, I'm not going to lie, at first she said did it. And I looked at her one more time, never said a name, and I said, now tell TT the truth so we can help you. And that's when she said, Uncle David.
So you believe that...
He say, she say, back and forth thing. I know I didn't do nothing wrong. I do believe something happened to my niece.
Severe beatings going on. Severe.
Yes.
And nobody knows anything.
Christina is the one who took her to the hospital, which they did say that she does have an infection. They just didn't know what kind.
So you believe that David sexually abused your niece?
To be honest, with all this he say, she say, back and forth thing, I know I didn't do nothing wrong. I do believe something happened to my niece. But to know what happened exactly, that's why we're here today.
You know, Christina's also saying that you're the one that molested her daughter? You know that?
And I also know that my son changed his story right after he talked to you. Why is that?
I never told him to change his story. Why is he saying that I did
Why is it that every time you talk to him, you trying to, you know, why do you keep bringing it up to him after I asked you multiple times to stop talking to him about it? Why is that, David?
Because you're coaching
You want to
him.
talk about me? Won't you talk about your sickness? Won't you talk about you always bringing it up to him, not me,
Because you're
not
coaching.
Christina. It's you.
You're coaching your son and saying, I did something
No,
when
I'm
you know
not.
it. You know Uncle Terry
I'm
did it.
not.
You know it.
Catherine, do you do drugs?
I smoke weed, yes I do.
That's it?
Yes.
No other drugs?
Never have I ever touched any other drugs.
Why did Mom say he was on drugs before she passed away?
It doesn't matter what anybody says,
All right,
okay?
All right, Kat.
All that matters is that I know people are insinuating that I'm doing it, but I'm not.
Why am
And
I
I
here?
already told. I don't know, why are you here? Because you want to get more famous?
All right.
So your sister, Christina's gonna join us now?
Yes.
Hey, Christina.
Hi, Steve.
When Terry was arrested for child abuse, how did you feel?
I was mad, honestly, because they didn't have no evidence. All they had was a statement and a doctor's statement. They didn't investigate the case.
That's not evidence.
Do you think that these children were abused?
I do. I saw the pictures myself. I do. However, I don't know who done it. They did say David done it for 2 years.
That David was abusing children for a period of 2 years?
Well, they've been saying it's been him for the 2 years. That
Oh,
he has
since
been-
it happened.
You just told me that your daughter.
Yes.
You just told me that your daughter said Catherine did it, though, Christina, just a couple days
Yep.
ago.
And I also told them that she said it as soon as you got out of jail, but they said you for 2 years and told us details.
You said every time
And
she
the
goes,
reason,
you said,
and the reason why I did not take my daughter to the hospital, and it took 3 weeks because COVID started, and they got bitched at for that.
likely excuse. Your daughter should always come first, though. Your daughter should always come first.
Okay.
You said after she went to talk to Catherine,
your
she
kids
changed.
should come first too.
Yeah, and I made my kids come first.
Too. Your kids should come first too, right?
Every time.
The reason why my daughter was not seeing me is because COVID started and the doctors would not set them up. But she was sexually abused, and we are here today. So if you got that lie detector test, you are going back to prison where you belong.
Well, if I pass it, and I know what will, both y'all are gonna come back and take a test, or I'm pressing charges on both y'all. How about
you
that?
You can try to press charges. You can try to, but they told their therapy that by themselves.
Do you believe that David sexually assaulted your daughter?
I don't know what to believe, honestly. I mean, I don't know what to believe.
Do you believe David's guilty of burning your son with a cigarette?
Yeah, he burned other kids with cigarettes. That's his past.
Did you ever burn any child with a cigarette?
I did not.
Did you burn your son with a cigarette?
I did not, no.
He is a lie. That is a lie right there.
Well, we'll see whenever these tests come out. You should be here.
You did not burn previous kids with cigarettes, bro.
You should be.
That was an accident.
You should be here, and I should not be here. And I should be here with y'all, and y'all should be taking this test with me. I should not be taking it by myself.
I'm taking one, but let me tell you something. I'm taking one, and one question I want you to ask me is, did I put anything in my kid's head? And I bet you that's gonna come back though.
All right.
I'm a caregiver.
And Christina,
put kids in people's head.
Christina, your boyfriend Terry made us a tape. We're gonna watch that now.
I was babysitting for my sister-in-law on January 20th. All of a sudden got arrested for child abuse. I was shocked, confused. They brought me to jail. About 3 days later, I got bonded out. But I couldn't see my kids. I had to do parental classes. I had to be supervised with my own kids. They closed the case because they noticed that I wasn't a danger to my kids. While they was investigating Catherine's son abuse, it came out that my own kids was abused too. I know I never abused a child. I don't know about David. I really hope he didn't do it, but like I told the producers, I'm putting nothing past really nobody. He definitely needs to get punished for what he done to my kids and any other kids he had parts with. If David failed the test, I want him locked up for the rest of his life.
You were arrested for child abuse, right?
Yes, sir.
But you say you didn't do any of that.
No.
You never hit the children at all.
No, I never.
Do you think that somebody abused these children?
Somebody had to. I mean, the kids said that. I don't think they were.
Well, there's physical. Somebody beat these children with a belt, right?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever struck Christina's son, leaving marks or bruises? He answered no. Is it tough for you to... He admitted that he made a false statement against you. How do you feel about David lying about you?
I'm pissed off at David because I thought me and David were more better than that.
You were close at one time?
Yeah, we were close at one time.
Okay.
But we started to get back close when he got out.
Would you say these kids are well cared for?
Yes, they are.
I guess everybody's definition of well cared for is different.
No.
Let me say something. There's one thing that I can say is that I'm a single mom and I take care of my kids with the best of my abilities. I don't sit here and I don't do drugs like David claims to be. I don't do meth. I don't smoke crack. I could take a drug test today, and I promise you the only thing to be in my system is THC. So all that insinuations and he wants to accuse, the person that I know, David just had an overdose not that long ago because he was doing meth. So for him to say that he ain't doing it now, we all know meth cleans out your system in 3 days. So for him to just say he's not doing it, that's a lie, because why did your daughter call me crying that her dad almost died?
Is it true that you overdosed recently?
That was about 2 months ago, yeah.
2 months ago.
Yeah.
What I have in my hands is the Green Bay Police Department report, and they say that in the report it says that this doctor showed us the photographs of the buttocks, and there was indeed multiple bruises and what appeared to be ligature marks on his rear end. It is known how long they have been there, but some appeared to be fresh. It should be noted that 75% of the buttocks had markings on them, and they range from being red, purple, and blue. Now, just my own experience from bruising, when you get that colorization in bruising, red, purple, and blue, that's severe bruising. The fact that 75% of the buttocks is covered, there's some severe beatings going on. Severe.
Yes.
And nobody knows anything.
I know for a fact that
You don't know for a fact. The one thing we know for a fact is that nobody knows for a fact, except the person that did it. And only one person came here to be tested. So David came here because he's being accused of sexually and physically abusing his niece and nephews. Come here, we give him a drug test. David was administered a 16-panel urinalysis, and he tested negative for all categories of drugs. No drugs at all in his system. So then we go on to lie detector David concerning Christina's children first. And we asked him, have you ever struck Christina's son, leaving marks or bruises? He answered no. Have you ever burned Christina's son with a cigarette? He answered no. Have you ever touched Christina's daughter for your own sexual gratification? He answered no. And the three questions came back with the same results for Christina's children, and it came back that David told the truth.
Well, y'all let's say now, Christina, you put that in your child's head and say that I did it. Both of y'all know that. Because I signed that statement on Terry. Yes, you did. I want you both back here.
I don't know, Steve. That's what my daughter said. I still stay on to what I said.
Is that why I'm the only one here?
Okay. David,
No.
hold on.
Work.
David then went on to lie detector test Catherine's. We gave a lie detector test about Catherine's sons, and we asked him, have you ever struck Catherine's son, leaving marks or bruises? He answered no. Have you ever hit Catherine's son with a belt? He answered no. Have you ever burnt Catherine's son with a cigarette? He answered no. Have you ever touched Catherine's son for your own sexual gratification? He answered no. The results for those four questions came back the same, and they came back that David told the truth.
I'm gonna put both y'all in jail if y'all don't come back here and do these lie detector tests.
Okay. So what we have here is a problem. There's probably, in my mind, could be more, but we definitely have four suspects, right?
No.
Three of them on screen.
No, I was never a
Three
suspect.
suspects now.
I'm saying
Never a
this.
suspect.
I'm saying this. Not the police, not anybody back home.
Come for it like
In
that.
my mind, there's four
I do not-
suspects. One's
No,
cleared.
he's done.
One's cleared. Now, maybe you do or maybe you don't want to get to the bottom of who the hell's beating your children. If you want to get to the bottom of it,
Oh, we do
I
see.
suggest that you come to the show and take lie detector tests and drug tests. If you
Okay.
don't want to get to the bottom of it and you want your children to keep getting abused, stay in Wisconsin. But one of you are beating them children. Everybody's real quiet. Will I be seeing you here soon?
Yes.
I
Yes, sir.
already told you that I would come and take a lie detector test.
How about you, Terry? You coming?
He keeps talking.
Terry, you
Yes, sir.
coming? You coming?
Yeah, I come.
All right.
We asked to be
Christina, you're coming?
Yeah, we asked.
Catherine, you're coming?
I already said I would.
See you
I
next
ain't got
week.
nothing to hide.
We're going to get to the bottom of it next week.
Thank you.